Hi, my name is Winsley, and welcome to my video on champions in Dune Spice Wars. Champions are a new mechanic that you get access to if you're playing the 6th faction House Ikaz, and while I would like to talk more about them here, there are a couple more things we need to cover first. This video is sponsored by Shiro Games and was made with their support. You could say this video is an ad. Oh, and all the gameplay footage in this video was captured from a PC version of the game. If you haven't heard yet, Dune Spice Wars just came out of early access, and if you haven't played it yet, it is a very fun RTS from the creators of Northgard and a couple other great games. So when I first saw that you can get champions after you reach 5k hegemony, and those champions get you a little bit of hegemony by killing other faction units, I didn't think much of the champions. Um, but then I saw if you actually try to upgrade a unit, they get more than just a little bit of hegemony when they kill a unit. They get 100 hegemony for every unit that they kill. Uh, but they also get extra health, extra power, and extra armor, which is not insignificant. That can make this unit not just able to survive more damage, but able to dish out more damage and take out more units and maybe make a difference in a fight that is a little bit closer. If we look at this example here, this is actually going to be a pretty close fight, so it makes sense to upgrade one of my units to a champion. It's just a question of like which one do I want to spend my Solarion. I believe I took the counselor here that actually lets me take two champions, so I could actually spend pretty much all of my money on upgrading two units to become champions in order to make them stronger. This unit wouldn't benefit from the extra health as much as other units, or as much as other units would benefit from having that extra health and the extra armor. It would benefit from the power, but I think what you want to do is make your champions guys who are going to be tanking a little bit of damage. I remember the war chiefs in Northgard were capable of taking a lot of damage and dealing out a lot of damage, so I would typically send them into a fight first. I think we can turn this squire into a champion. This unit is not a Housey Kaz unit, so we can't actually apply the champion tag to him. But yeah, if we wanted to, we could make this guy into a champion, and he's a machine, so he can't be a champion. The only other valid candidate here right now is this musketeer, but I believe the knight would also make a decent candidate for this type of upgrade. So if I want to be really optimal here, what I'll do is I won't just send in one guy here because all of them follow. What we'll do is we will move most of them this way, grab our champion, which is this one, and send him in first, just so he takes the alpha strike off of the enemy, and then they target him, they put damage on him. Yeah, they're already running. They can see that my unit quality is just better. I think they have a lot of like the beginner units, kind of like my squires and my musketeers. Now I have a knight. We can show off how he compares to the other units. He's going to have 3 armor, 420 health, and a bit of power. He also, I think, gets some benefits for being around other ECAS units. Nobility says that the damage received is going to be less for every nearby non-mechanical ECASy unit. So this, I think, makes a fantastic candidate for a champion. You just need to make sure that you have things like the squires and musketeers and fencers around. The war banner is a pretty good unit, but it's mechanical. It can't support the knight through its nobility tag, and it can't become a champion for the same reason. If we click on him here, he doesn't have the button to become a champion like the musketeer or this knight here. Yeah, so I think the knight makes a fantastic candidate for champion. It makes sense when you look at the name. We also have a siren and a monument. The siren um, is, I don't think, an Akazi unit. I think the monument is. So we'll go to another save to test if that one can get the other special tags. Pretty sure these guys can't either, but we'll double check that in a minute. So I just got done building the monument unit. which is a Ikazi frigate, I think. I'm not entirely sure how I unlocked this unit because I didn't see it in my tech tree, but I did get an achievement saying that I built a frigate when I built it, so it might have something to do with the Space Guild branch or airfields. But yeah, it's quite expensive. 100 guild favors is basically 100 days of trading with the guild branch, and then on top of that, you're gonna need some fuel cells, which I was using on my war banners. The war banners are a pretty good use of fuel cells because they can create manpower and support your other units, making it so they get more damage. But yeah, I think we may want to actually look at the stats on these units a little bit more. We did take a look at, I think, the Squire earlier. They got decent health and power and armor, but they're more about removing armor on other units. The um, Musketeer, same, a little bit weaker actually in terms of health and armor, but more about the firepower, but relatively on the same tier as these guys. The Fencer, I think, would make a really interesting candidate for champion because they get this 150 attack speed when no allies are close. So I could see you getting an early champion and just having him attack villages. You just need to be relatively careful because he doesn't have a lot of armor or health. Um, so you need to probably pull him back every once in a while, and you got to keep an eye on the supply. I think most units have the same amount of supply, which is modified by how much water you have access to. But yeah, if you look here, none of the machines get access to the champion tag, and none of the non-Ekazi units, all these temporary units, they can't become champions either. One other thing that we can note here is that you can change the loadouts on your military units by going to the armory here. And some of these may make your units into better champions. So if I give him extra health, less power, I think that's probably a better champion because usually I use them to tank. Musketeers get access to some similar upgrades. If we look here, they both get better protection and padded shielding, but the first two options are a little bit different. There's not one that gives armor to the musketeer. They're more of an offensive focused thing. So their two upgrades have to do with being offensive focused, whereas this one can get an attack um, on air units or armor at the reduction of power. Um, and then if we come across here, he has padded shielding like the other two, but he doesn't have the better protection. The fencer is another more offensively focused unit, although you can give him some armor at the cost of power if that's what you wanted to do. I think that it's interesting that this guy can get a lot of attack on his first attack and at the cost of armor, because that basically means they need to attack once, retreat, attack once, retreat, and hopefully not die, because you've spent a bit of money on the fencer and investing in his equipment. After that, if we look at the war banner, well, none of this is going to make uh, this unit a better champion because he is a machine. He can't become a champion, but it is worth pointing out that he has a fifth option here. Most of them have four. This guy's something that helps him destroy armor, which can support the rest of your army. So yeah, if you got a champion, maybe get a war banner so that they can cover other aspects of your army or supporting your army. And the knight has padded shielding like all these other ones. He has sharpened blade, which is like the fencer. Heavy armor, I think, is actually, yeah, something you get on the squire. And then this tempered sword reminds me of, I think, this one. It's slightly different. It's Solari. It's a cost of Solari to give you a little bit more power. This is percentage based. This is just you get 2 more power. So all in all, there's a lot of improvements that you can choose to make your champion better. None are going to make it so that your unit has as much health as this monument. In a lot of ways, this is kind of like a champion. In fact, when we look at it, it's kind of got a star above it like you would see on a special champion unit. I think that has to do with the fact that it's considered a frigate. But yeah, that's everything I had for you today. See you around. Have a good one.